So my question is, the case study that I did saw was that if you check the former Yugoslavia, where they external influence in the balkanization of that country and that country state, the Balkans, were the external forces that people had to fight over and over and over before they could be broken into entities. And even to today, they are still fighting around, like you see, the Republic of Srpska and Bosnia and Herzegovina. And the reason why I did concluded that was that these people were almost from the same descent, but because of maybe religious differences, some are Orthodox, some are Catholic, some are Protestant, Can you relate my case study with the present day Nigeria, which I think has the same closely related problem, in as much as I know that we have the British Empire, we are still under the British Empire?
Yeah, thanks. Yugoslavia is a good case study. Again, structured like Nigeria, an artificial construct made up of disparate nations and ethnic groups. And the important lesson that we should learn from that is, it goes to my point about drawing learning points from the experiences of others. Nations, when there's an argument about whether somebody should be independent or not, the external calculations and external influences are so significant. So tiny Kosovo is a nation. It was part of Yugoslavia. But because the big power, America, decided to back the independence of Kosovo, as tiny as it is, I forget its population figure, it becomes a nation. Whereas when we look at the Nigeria space, you see people arguing that, the Igbos cannot be a nation, the Yorubas cannot be a nation, the Ijaws cannot be a nation, etc., etc. It goes to show you the reality that whether in this day and age, in this era of interconnectedness and geopolitics, whether you are a nation or not doesn't so much depend upon your size and your resources. It depends on the call of outside forces and outside powers. Biafra would have been an independent state, but for the role of the British, who supplied the weaponry and the tactics and everything else to make sure that that did not happen. So it wasn't a question of whether it was logical, whether it was feasible, whether it was viable. It was all a question of whether it was desirable at a geopolitical level. And it was not desirable, and therefore not to be allowed, because the agenda in Africa had always been to keep the borders as drawn at the Berlin Conference, or following the Berlin Conference of 1884. And if Biafra broke free from the Nigeria borders, it would set a precedent for other countries across the continent, and it was not going to be allowed to happen. This is why I recently discovered that the code name for the war, in terms of the federal side, the code name for that war against the Biafran forces was Operation OAU. What does OAU stand for? Organization for African Unity. So yeah, thanks. There's lessons from Yugoslavia. It is not pure intrinsic logicality, feasibility, viability. If the geopolitical alignment means means that favors a small entity being an independent nation, then it will be. If it doesn't, it'll be blocked.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.